Googling Alysa Liu's real mother is a fool's errand. Everyone is looking for a clean punchline to a messy joke. But you won't find clarity there. You can't solve this puzzle by chasing a ghost. You have to look at the man who stayed. Chapter 1. The Architect. Long before the gold medals, the national anthems and the history books were written, a 40-year-old lawyer in California was drawing a line in the sand that most men wouldn't dare cross. Arthur Lloyd didn't wait for a wedding ring. He didn't wait for the picket fence. And he certainly didn't wait for permission. He chose to be a father on his own terms. This is a man who escaped the political firestorm of Tiananmen Square. He came to America with nothing and built a fortress from the ground up. That survival instinct forged him. So when he decided to build a family, it wasn't a whim. It was a strategy. He utilized anonymous egg donors and gestational surrogates to engineer a clan of 5. Alysa Liu and the triplets, Julia, Joshua, and Justin. 5 kids, 1 dad, 0 traditional mothers. That is the spark that ignites the public's fascination. But let's kill the rumors right now. There is no secret dossier, no hidden wife back in China waiting in the wings. His only marriage on paper was to Yan Mary Ching-shin. And that happened right here in the States years down the line. Remember, Arthur didn't touch down at JFK with a trust fund or a golden parachute. He was a refugee starting at absolute zero. He worked the grunt jobs, fought for his green card, and learned the law by living through it. He was frugal, sharp, and patient. He grinded until he passed the bar and clawed his way into the courtroom. He secured his fortune, practicing immigration law, mastering the very beast that once tried to keep him out. Chapter 2. The truth about the lab. Let's cut through the noise for a second. Surrogacy isn't adoption, it isn't playing God, and it sure as hell isn't a cheat code. It involves creating an embryo with genetic material from the parents and donors. The surrogate is the carrier, not the creator. In Alysa's story, an anonymous woman provided half the blueprint. Arthur provided the rest. The surrogate provided the womb. It's medical, not magical. You can't manufacture a gold medalist. DNA gives you the ceiling. The work gives you the floor. Champions are made in the gym, not a petri dish. Surrogacy doesn't guarantee a podium finish. So why is Alysa the face on the magazine covers while her siblings live quietly? Because greatness is a perfect storm of hunger, talent, and obsession. Her brothers and sisters just chose a different game. Chapter 3. The 4 Ghosts. People keep asking, who is the mother? Expecting a single name. But Alysa's origin story isn't a solo act, it's a quartet. First, the donor, the biological phantom. She gave the genetics, took the check, and stayed in the shadows. Her contribution is in the blood, permanent but invisible. Alysa has her eyes, not her phone number. And listen, this part is key. This wasn't a spin of the roulette wheel. Arthur Liu has been loud and clear. He specifically chose white donors to ensure his kids were biracial. Chinese roots, Western influence. He believed a mixed identity was a passport to a bigger world. In the American system, picking a donor is like drafting a player. You look at the stats, medical history, mental health, education, physical specs, and personality profiles. We don't have Arthur's exact checklist, but we know one thing for sure. This was a calculated, researched medical decision. Nothing was left to chance. Second, the surrogate. For 9 months, she was the vessel. No genetic tie, just a physical one. She gave Alysa life, and interestingly enough, she carried the triplets later on. That's a bond of labor, not blood. Alysa has met her. But keep it in perspective, it's polite, it's respectful, and it's distant. Third, the stepmother. Mary. She was briefly married to Arthur when Alysa was just a kid. She stepped in, helped raise them, and then the marriage dissolved. The public record goes dark there. Some doors stay closed for a reason. But there is one moment that echoes. From day one, Alysa reportedly knew something was off. She looked in the mirror, looked at the adults, and the math just didn't add up. That realization. It triggered the big questions about biology and where she actually fit in. And that is the key. It reveals her character right out of the gate. Sharp, analytical, watching everything. The exact same weapons she would later bring to the ice. Enter Shu, the rock. While other figures came and went, Grandma Shu was the anchor in Alysa's storm. Arthur's mum didn't just visit. She uprooted her entire existence, flying from China to California on a mission to raise those kids. She walked away from her life for nearly 8 years. Think about that. Strange land, foreign tongue, 5 kids, and a son buried in law books. That isn't a vacation, it's survival. English wasn't an option, but with Alysa, words were unnecessary. It was hot meals, daily grind. Just being there. Sometimes silence screams louder than a speech ever could. Then at 13, just as Alysa starts blowing up on the national scene, Shu flies back to China. Another goodbye. Another seismic shift. But Alysa, she didn't blink. Chapter 4. The elephant in the room identity and the surrogacy question. It is the classic crisis. Is my DNA a blueprint or a mystery? Am I a freak? Who am I really? But look at the data. It doesn't care about normal. It proves that kids raised with the truth win every single time. And Alysa's life, no shadows, no skeletons in the closet. They laid it all out on the table. No secrets meant no doubts. Just cold, hard facts preventing insecurity from taking root. Watch her interviews. Watch her eyes. You will see something rare. She is solid as a rock. Loves her siblings, adores her dad, totally at peace with herself. You don't get that kind of calm from chaos. You get it when you know deep in your bones that you belong. Alysa wasn't an accident. She was a mission, planned, chosen, wanted. That mindset is everything. Chapter 5. The price tag. Figure skating isn't just hard. It is a financial black hole. Coaches choreo ice time flights. We are talking tens of thousands of dollars a year. Easy. And Arthur footed that bill. Not for one kid, while raising 5. Let that sink in. That is not just quirky parenting. That is bleed for its sacrifice. People say he built a lab-grown champion. Garbage. That ignores the massive gamble. You can't buy a gold medal no matter how much you pay. He rolled the dice anyway. Chapter 6. Why is everyone so obsessed? The hunt for Alysa's real mum exposes our own bias. We want the fairy tale, one mum, one dad, the white picket fence. Reality check families are messy. Alysa got genes from donor A. She grew inside surrogate B. Raised by a stepmom early on, anchored by a grandma later. No single woman fits the mother mold. But combine them, you get a village. And that village built a champion. Chapter 7. Flashback to Milan, the biggest stage on earth. The camera pans to her family and the mom spot is empty. But look closer. That empty chair wasn't a void. It was a monument to history. Every flight, every goodbye, every dollar. It all culminated in that moment. And Alysa, she wasn't searching for a ghost. She was radiating pure joy. She doesn't see holes in her life. She sees what she was given. So who is the mother here? The DNA donor. The surrogate who carried her for 9 months. The short-term stepmom or the grandma who held down the fort. Or maybe just maybe motherhood isn't a person. It is a team sport. Forget the broken home narrative. This was design. Arthur chose to be a dad. 4 women pitched in. 5 tight-knit kids. 1 wild backstory. And out of that chaos rose an Olympic titan. Not built. Raised. In a world addicted to tradition. Alysa Liu smashes the stereotype. Family isn't a greeting card. Mums don't always come in singles. Love doesn't always have a label. But you can find solid ground in the strangest places. Asking, where is her mum, doesn't tell us about Alysa. It tells us about society. Because check the scoreboard emotionally, mentally, she is winning. She didn't lack a mother. She was drowning in motherly love. It just didn't look like a Norman Rockwell painting.